Hello and good evening. You're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Saraya Mia. The people of Malaysia must remain united so that the country can continue to develop in aspects of economy, investment and eradicate poverty. In a Facebook posting, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim says the Christmas Day celebration this year can serve as a momentum to show love, kindness, understanding and compassion among each other and spread goodwill among various communities, irrespective of race, religion and background. He also wished a happy Christmas Day celebration to all Christians in the country and described it as an auspicious day for the Christian community to celebrate the day with their loved ones, families, friends and relatives. Anwar, in his 2023 Christmas Day greetings, also said, "May this year's Christmas celebration bring happiness, peace, harmony, prosperity and unity among all Malaysians." Christmas is celebrated on December 25th by the Christian community throughout the world every year. The demolition process of the Shah Alam Stadium for the reconstruction of the new Shah Alam Sports Complex KSSA is expected to be carried out soon. This follows the approval given by the Shah Alam City Council, MBSA, for the KSSA development project on December 22nd. The matter recently was confirmed by the Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amiruddin Shari. The Selangor government previously submitted the planning permission for the KSSA project on November 15th. This involves the demolition process of the Shah Alam Stadium costing 35.5 million ringgit. It was reported that the KSSA reconstruction project covered an area of 76.08 hectares and was expected to be completed by 2026. Datuk Seri Muhammad Sabu retains the party Amanah Negara Amanah presidency for the third term after he was elected in a special meeting of the party's National Leadership Committee for the 2023 to 2026 term. The deputy president post went to Datuk Seri Dr. Mujahid Yusof, previously held by the late Datuk Seri Salahuddin Ayub. As for the vice president's post, Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, Adli Zahari and Dr. Siti Maria Mahmud were selected. Amanah Speaker Azhar Abdul Shukur and Deputy Speaker On Jaafar announced the results of the polls for the top positions at its 2023 National Convention on Sunday. Earlier during the convention, the party conducted the polls to choose the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, 2 auditors and 27 National Leadership Committee members for the new term using the e-voting system involving 1,003 delegates. The elections involved 97 candidates, of which the highest votes were garnered by Dr. Zulkifli, 900 votes, followed by Khalid Abdul Samad, 899 votes, Azli Yusof, 755 votes, Mujahid, 699 votes, and Datuk Mahfuz Omar, 694 votes. However, the President, Deputy President and Vice President posts were selected from among the 27 individuals with the highest votes in a meeting held after the announcement of the election results. Meanwhile, Muhammad in his adjournment speech urged the party leaders who will take the helm in the future to strive towards strengthening the party and continue its cooperation with Pakatan Harapan and Barisan Nasional. Will the new lineup for Amanah be able to increase the relevancy of the party within the current political landscape? We speak to Associate Professor Dr. Shaza Shukri from IIUM.
To be honest, since Muhammad Sabu will continue as the president for the next 3 years, it's going to continue how it's always been. In terms of how it's going to increase their relevance, I think looking at Datuk Seri Mujahid being the new deputy might help Amanah a bit in terms of he has previously talked about how to increase their presence in the grassroots, etc. So it feels like he's going to help the party to move in that way. It feels like Amanah understands that this is their main weakness. This has been the criticism towards the party for as long as I can remember. So we hope that with him and Dr. Zul together, they can create a new strategy, a new plan, especially before GE16. But I'm not saying this in a negative way, but with Mak Sabu still as the president, we can see a sense of continuity there as well. So it's like they don't want to rock the boat too much. It's a mix of both, continuity as well as some new blood.
She also commented on the role of new Deputy President Datuk Sri Dr. Mujahid Yusof in driving the party agenda forward.
I think that he could help the party in a different way, in the sense that the way that I see Dr. Salahuddin is that he was more of a conciliatory figure. He's good in that way, in that sense. He's able to reach out to a lot of people, to show Amanah in a certain light. Datuk Sri Mujahid, on the other hand, is more of, I like to use the word of a fighter. He has that spirit in him, to really push Amanah forward. So I think, again, it's about bringing Amanah forward into the future. So I'm not sure it's really continuing Dr. Salahuddin's legacy, but he has his own way of doing things. I'm talking about Dr. Sri Mujahid. So I'm kind of hopeful and optimistic that with him as the second-hand man, I guess, that it would help Amanah in a certain way, hopefully, because like I said earlier, he does have more of a clear vision and mission. Of course, the rest also do. Dr. Salahuddin, Dr. Zul, they all have a clear vision and mission, because Amanah as a party is very clear on what they are, what they want to do, but they're not clear on the strategy. So Dr. Sri Mujahid, I see as more of a strategist in that sense. So hopefully he can bring it towards better pasture, I guess.
We'll take a short break. Stay tuned for more.
Siapakah Gempak Most Wanted 2023? Anda yang akan menentukannya.
Layari www.gempakmostwantedawards.com sekarang untuk mengundi.
Gempak Most Wanted Awards terpaling trending.
The use of generative AI tools such as ChatGPT has transformed businesses and professions, boosting productivity and optimizing processes. As we bring in the new year, Catherine Lien, Managing Director of IBM Malaysia, discusses key technology trends in 2024 with generative AI at the center.
When we looked at the technology trends in 2024, we are excited to see the exponential growth in generative AI, and it's going to be a $16 trillion opportunities in 2030. Now, technology eminence will define winners in the respective organizations. And it is very interesting to see that when we did the Institute business value surveys across the CEOs, most of the consistency of feedbacks were that generative AI will become an AI plus in investment, and ecosystems of generation in building up the technologies will be a very important part to define the success of this organization. Now, as we see all the cybersecurity tightening across the organizations, the AI governance will be the top priorities for the CEOs to implement. Now, conversations around AI will no longer just sit with the IT department. CEOs have made realize that it is a conversation to drive digital transformation for their business optimization across the many years to come.
Catherine also outlined gaps in generative AI implementation in Malaysia and what IBM is doing to address them.
The major observation that I see in the gaps to be able to implement generative AI is really to do with the skill sets. And where we, IBM Malaysia, has seen the gap in the skill sets to upskill typically employees and also users across the organizations, we have fundamentally introduced IBM Skills Build, as the online program for us to be helping through the organizations in terms of reskilling and upskilling. Now, this online education is a free education for all levels of learners that includes cybersecurity, AI, data science, and also hybrid cloud. And our strategy and objective is to be able to upskill 2,000 learners across the next 3 years that will be ready for the workforce when the generative AI explosion is consistent to the $16 trillion opportunity in 2030.
In addressing skepticism and concerns surrounding the use of generative AI, Catherine said it's important to build trust within the system.
At IBM, Trust AI is our most priority. Where we build up the AI technology, we also need to make sure that the data is the data trust is intact, and the confidentiality of data in every organization that uses generative AI is being implemented. IBM Watson X.governance is there to address through this overall criteria of ecosystem, where the implementations will enable every organization not only to be able to build the data trust across the platform, but to ensure that every user adheres to the trust and also the data governance of every sector that they use us in.
SMEs make up about 95% of businesses in Malaysia. Therefore, Catherine emphasized the need to upskill and reskill employees for generative AI adoption.
It's really through the upskilling of their employees and to reskill their employees as well. And for me, when we looked at the whole SME organization that's in need to build up their technology trend investment, government of the whole industry should look at how we can be able to provide insights to rebates, incentives, and also upskillings of what I actually call it as re-education, to make sure that these technology industries can be adopted across the SME organizations.
According to Catherine, the adoption of new technology and the upskilling of talent is also in line with the Madani framework to accelerate the country's digital transformation.
If you look at the digital economy blueprint, the Madani framework, it has been clearly defined that the initiatives that the government is taking is to drive through the upskillings of talents and to make sure that the co-investment between the private and the public sector is made realized. And this is a journey. And we feel that this journey will not be an endpoint. It's a journey for us to continue to make realize how relevant technology will be and how relevant that we could partner together with the government to make this realized here in Malaysia.
On to international news. The World Health Organization, WHO, expressed grave concerns over the destruction of the health system in the war-torn Gaza Strip. They warned that if the health system in Gaza collapses, it would result in a tragedy. The organization also called for an immediate ceasefire from all parties involved in the conflict. According to the latest data by the United Nations last Thursday, only 9 of the 36 hospitals in the region are partially operational and struggling to cope with the overwhelming demands. Despite the surge in healthcare needs, only 38% of hospital beds are currently available in Gaza, while only 30% of healthcare workers are able to continue their work. This is according to a statement released by the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs last Thursday. Meanwhile, the death toll of Palestinians from Israeli attacks in the Gaza Strip has so far risen to 20,424 since October 7th, with 54,036 others injured, according to the Gaza-based Health Ministry in a statement on Sunday. It added that at least 166 Palestinians were killed and 384 injured in Israeli attacks over the past 24 hours. Israel has launched a large-scale offensive against Hamas in the Gaza Strip to retaliate against a Hamas attack on the southern Israeli border on October 7th, where about 1,200 people were killed and more than 200 were taken hostage. That wraps up AWANI Tonight. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again.